Hello gamers, it's Professor Meg, and welcome to a preview of DreamEscape. Welcome back to the Board Game Co channel. This is a preview of DreamEscape by Bad Cat Games. This is a campaign that is currently on GameFun, and you can check out the link to their campaign down below. I highly suggest checking this one out if you're into things like Cthulhu lore and trying to make different skill checks to get through things like that. This is also an adventure type, choose your own adventure game, so if you like things like that, it's also maybe up your alley. Now please keep in mind this is a paid preview, which means that we are sponsored to preview this game for you today, and this is a demo copy, so all of the components that you see here in front of you are subject to change. There are demo components for us to preview for you today, but they give you a great sense of what the game is going to play like, and I think that the iconography as well as the art in this game is very clearly done. That I think that it definitely propels the game forward and is done very beautifully. So to talk a little bit about DreamEscape, this is a game where you are going to be going through different challenges, which is very typical of something in a Cthulhu lore, where you will go through these challenges, but it is a choose your own adventure. So instead of being faced with one challenge, and we will go through some of these, you are faced with a challenge and then options of what you want to do. And some things you might be able to do only if you have specific items with you, but some things you'll be able to do depending on what tests you want to try. And even after you try those tests, you'll do different things that will still have you do follow-up tests to determine things that will or won't happen to your character. Now, another thing that I really enjoy is that you have these different runes, and those are what you are casting when you are making these checks. So instead of rolling a die, you are using these, and there are different ones that you can have for your player. So all players will start with 3 of these base ones that are half of an elder sign on both sides. So no matter what, you will roll half an elder sign for these, but there are other ones. For example, that's what I grabbed. For example, there's this one, which is not good for you. This one will gain you Cthulhu tokens. Oof, I'm so sorry. Come on. Uh-oh. Okay, there we go. So this one, well, it will gain you Cthulhu signs or a success, so it could be good or bad, and we'll get to that later, but this one is either a double or a single as an artifact, which is great, and there is, I think that was there, and then there's also a 50-50 option, which is an absolute or nothing. And then there is this fun one, which also gives you 3 half successes. So that allows you to match all 3 of your base ones that you start off with, which is also a very powerful move as well. Now players start with 3 of these, and then different things will add things for you, such as your items and abilities that you have, but the ones that are a bit better are one-time use type things that you get to add to your pool for casting different things, and then they go away. So you don't always have ones that are that powerful from the beginning. It's ones that you'll be adding and using for specific situations. Now in DreamEscape, players are going to be playing through different areas. There are these different worlds that you'll be going through and interacting with their decks, and you are trying to make it through and trying to piece together as many dream fragments as you can to kind of piece together your way home through this adventure. Similar to many Cthulhu-esque games, it is much easier to lose and to die in the game as opposed to winning. So there are many ways for you to be stopped in the game as opposed to making it through, which is the ultimate goal. Players will start with their character boards, and they will also have their available cards. Now you will start with a shard. Shards are cards that you'll be using for different abilities in the game, but one of the things that it also determines is what world you are able to start in. So for the game that I have set up for you, we have access to the Enchanted Woods, so we were able to start within this world. Now once we go here, there's an event tracker that will move forward, and different things will happen depending on how far along the event tracker you are. Now if you uncover the Enchanted Woods when you are at the 1, different things will happen, but for this one you will lose a willpower, which I already did for our poor Rosalind here, and then you will move on. Now there are these free action symbols that whenever this free action symbol is rolled, you are able to gain 1 health for the Enchanted Woods as well, which I was able to do a few times. Now within this example, we were also able to uncover the trapdoor, which is an extra thing that we're able to do. So when you start the game, you will have the Enchanted Woods deck, and there are locked cards and available cards. And you'll be drawing from the available cards, But one of the things that we were able to do upon this was uncovering the trapdoor. Now the stone trapdoor is here. There's also a secret card within here that we have not yet drawn, but we could eventually, and I will show you what happens when we get there. But just know that that's how things are very choose your own adventure, and you are unlocking them. That first we were in the Enchanted Woods, we have unlocked the stone trapdoor, but we have not yet encountered the card that it goes with. Now, there will be cards that you are playing through, and when you are doing them, you'll be reading through the encounter text, doing whatever happens immediately, and then you'll have your choice of 3 options. I'm going to have us do some fresh options, but just to go through the card, that's what would happen. Then there may or may not be symbols on the sides, and when those match up, something very cool happens that I will show you when we get there, but I don't have an example right now. I'll get to there in just a minute, but first let's go through an event card. So, to draw the next one, it says, finding it increasingly hard to breathe in the stifling air, I had stopped to rest beneath a twisted oak. I awoke to a sharp stabbing pain through my calf. I tried to sit up, but found I was trapped beneath a tangle of roots. Had the roots grown over me as I slept? Strange noises came from close by my legs. 2 fat, rodent-like creatures the size of cats crouched by my legs. Another sharp pain stabbed through me as one withdrew its horribly bloodied snout from a deep wound in my thigh. I struggled to get them away, but succeeded only in drawing further attention. One creature hopped onto my chest and regarded me with bulbous, sticky, glowing eyes. Now, this is a great time to point out to you that the team at Bad Cat Games are all experienced dungeon masters for the Call of Cthulhu, tabletop game. So they play that a lot. Sorry, I was reading this and then I just jumped into that thought. But they're all experienced dungeon masters for that, so they are all very well immersed in the Cthulhu lore, as well as the writing and things like that, and being very descriptive. So that's why all of these encounters that you're going to go through at the heart of the game, the point is going through these choose your own adventure cards and deciding what happens to you. So if you enjoy a lot of writing and stuff like this, it is very thematic and very, it draws you in. So our choices become, if card 15 is in play, you can tell them that your flesh is deadly poisonous. Unfortunately, we do not have card 15. Or, offer them food from your supplies. If card 106 is in play, we do not. Or, drive them off with aggression, which is always my favorite. And we can test for 3. Now, in the scenario where we have to test 3 to attack with them, it shows you that it's this sword swashbuckling symbol, and that's kind of a way that you can see how different things are linked throughout the game. I believe one of these handy dandy player cards will show us, oh, maybe not, but that symbol, it does, right here, for fight. So it shows you that this is a fight type encounter, because different things will give you different rewards, so knowing what type of encounter you're doing will kind of give you a hint as to what might the outcome be, because if we fail fighting with aggression, we might get really hurt, but if we win fighting with aggression, we might get some rewards from them. So to make this roll, we would use our 3 runes that we have available to us. Then using our strange heirloom, we would also have a one of these available to us, if it's this one. So we would take these runes and use any others that we could use to add to this roll, because you may have others that you can add through other cards or things that you've had rolled over. But we would then roll these runes. Woo! And you can see that we did gain the Cthulhu symbol, and we were able to make one. Oop, that's not even a success. You can see that these are 2 bottoms, so that wouldn't work, but this is 1 success. So we did have 1 available to us. I don't think that's enough because we had to test 3, so we are going to read the failure for aggression. It kind of makes sense that I wanted to fight and I wasn't strong enough, but we're just not going to talk about it. We just jumped right into it, and it's not my fault whatsoever. So there is a top and a bottom to these cards, which makes it easy for you to see which is the success and the failure side, and it also helps with replayability, that it can kind of keep everything a secret for you, that you're not able to read the entire card at once or really memorize anything. Again, sorry to jump around, but that's one of the great things about this game, is that all of these event cards are shuffled and done in different orders. The idea is that you are a dreamer trying to go through these different fragments and piece together what's going on and make it through the mythos. So in that sense, you are kind of, in a jarring sense, going through all these different events. So it almost makes sense for this that it should be a little bit jarring and a little bit weird that you have all of these different events that you're going through. And it also lends to a lot of replayability because everything will be mixed in together, and it's kind of hard to see the different successes and failures. That everything will feel pretty new even if you may have seen that card before. So to go on to our failure, here we will see thrashing my limbs only forced them to hop up to my head. Worm-like mouths began tasting my ears, then moved to the soft flesh of my cheeks. My agonized screams finally drove them off, but not before they had taken their fill. -2 health. I feel like that should have cost you sanity as well, honestly. Don't add that now. Don't make this card worse, but whew, that is troubling. So everything I've encountered so far hasn't been quite that graphic or bad. I don't do good with gory things, and that's a taste for the writing that is in this game. Let's go through another one just so you can see other things. Not that really creeped me out, but it might have creeped me out. Alright, and now I'm going to read to you one of the locked cards. There are different locked cards for the Enchanted Woods, and just to give you a sense of what these cards are like, I will go through one. Foliage-encrusted stone statues were scattered throughout the area. At first, I observed only one or two, but like many things that lie in wait for unlucky travelers, the more you observe, the more are seen. Each was 20 feet high, and although mostly hidden by generations of wild growth and blotched lesions, I could see their general shape was humanoid yet massive, with 4 arms apiece. Each statue had been carved in a different aspect of swift locomotion, turbulent shapes running, crouching, diving. I marveled at this ghostly garden of ancient sculptures. Whoever created them was an incredibly skilled sculptor, perhaps even to rival August Rodin himself. You may investigate a nearby statue more closely, or creep further into the garden, or decide that the Garden of Lost Sculptures is not a safe place to linger and you can get out of there. So let's decide what to do, but for the sake of being fun, we will not leave and we will move forward. So let's investigate the statue more closely. And for the sake of a success, we're just going to say that we succeeded for you to be able to read it. We only needed one anyway, so let's move forward with that. And for our success, stripping away tangles of vine roots from the nearest revealed a marvel, at once both hideously suggestive and astounding. The statue protected beneath was so intricately detailed, its shaggy fur and hugged claws seemed more petrified than carved. Lose 1 sanity. So even for our success, where this one is a bit more difficult, we would still lose a sanity for that. Now when you succeed and when you fail, there are also these symbols down here that would be affected. So you would have these trigger as well when you would resolve the cards. Now earlier we did roll the Cthulhu symbol on our runes. That was one of the symbols that we triggered, and when that happens, it will be added to your player board. This is one of the ways for the game to end and for you to lose if 7 of these clog up your player board. Players will be playing different tokens to these areas to use these different abilities to be getting through these different events and making the different challenges. However, when you do get these Cthulhu symbols, you will instead take these different tokens and use them to block a specific symbol on your board. As soon as the 7th one is blocked on your player board, that is when you immediately lose the game. This is something that you are able to mitigate to a point where you are able to remove them. However, you will be getting them more and more throughout the game, and this is a way for you to die pretty quickly, or you can fight it out, but you'll definitely be fighting with the board being cluttered up by Cthulhu. Now this is representing him coming into your mind and taking control of you. It means that you have less abilities available to you, and he is also bringing you closer to death. So it's very thematic, and it also fits very well with the mechanics of the board in the game, that I really like that it was a token system that is blocking these different abilities for the players. Now some of these story cards that you encounter will give you conditions on the player. The conditions are cards that you'll draw, and you'll take a specific one when the deck tells you to. For example, if we were told to take condition number 3, we can see that this would be fearful. I had to find a way to escape this nightmare before it killed me. When you gain this card, place 3 tokens on it. while there are tokens on this card, your maximum sanity is less, or is 2 less. Remove 1 token each time you gain sanity. So you'll be healing to hopefully get tokens off of this card, and it will go away eventually. However, until it does, it will be permanently affecting you and making you more and more afraid to be encountering different things. Other than that, you will be drawing other different types of items, but another fun thing that you will be doing throughout the game is encountering different threats. Threat cards will be having you do different things where you need to meet different attribute symbols, and then after that you'll be able to gain rewards based on these cards. A threat challenge will be just like a normal skill test that players will perform, except it will be in 3 different stages for them to go through. Each stage has different skill test difficulties with the applicable skill icons, and the icons in red are ones that you have to do, whereas the ones in black are ones that are optional for you to do. So you have to pass the ones in red to be able to make it through the threat challenge. However, you are able to also try for the 3rd challenge as well to get additional benefits at the bottom. Now you'll see this will gain you more sanity, which is a way that we would be able to heal away that fearful card, and it will give us more of our deja vu ability. We'll go over those now because that is one of the interesting abilities that you're able to use throughout the game, and getting us toward the end of our preview. Now, players have these 4 dials available to them, and similar to many games of this genre, you have your health and your sanity. However, there are 2 other abilities that players are able to tap into with their characters. There is Deja Vu and also Lucid Dreaming. Now, for their Deja Vu abilities, players are able to spend 1 to recycle 1 card from their memories or rewards. They're also able to use it to recall memories, which they can spend to immediately return 1 story card of their choice from their memories or rewards area and shuffle it back into the story deck. They can also spend it to shift immediately to a discovered location card, or they are able to spend it to gain a master rune for the next skill test or threat test challenge, and the master rune is the one that is a 50-50 chance of having 1 success. Now your other ability is your Lucid ability. When you're using Lucid Dreaming, you're able to use it to do a few different things. You can use it to influence the outcome of a certain story encounter, which is something that you'll be able to just pay it to do different things when the encounter asks for it. You can spend it to immediately gain 2 sanity and 2 health, even if you had just dropped to 0, which is extremely important that you're able to use it to spend to come back up from 0 when you've taken damage. And you're also able to use it to gain the artifact rune for a future challenge, which is the one that has 2 successes on one side and 1 on the other. So that is also very helpful if you know you're doing a difficult challenge. However, I think using it to save yourself from hitting 0 damage is the most important way to use it. DreamEscape offers different characters that players are able to use, but it also offers different worlds that you're able to go through, and so much lore and writing that you are encountering all of these different things and having your choose your own adventure story where you may make different choices in future events. You may decide certain things aren't worth it, or you might be able to make a skill test that you weren't able to in previous games. Now there are so many of these worlds to go through that I think even finding the same card twice, you might not even know that you hit it by the time you find it again, but there is a lot of this in the game. Now this is a standalone box, however please keep in mind that it is volume 1, which means that there is more content planned. There will be even more for this world for you to plan, but this is just step 1 in the journey. And as you can see from the different worlds that are already available, there is a whole world that players will be able to explore and go through in DreamEscape. All in all, DreamEscape will feel like a choose-your-own-adventure in a Cthulhu world where everything is quite scary. And you're going through all of these different encounter cards, some that you already have available to you, some that you are unlocking throughout the game, and making different choices to hopefully make it all the way through, but I think that a lot of the time you'll use this to learn your lesson and face the challenge again. Thank you all for watching this preview. I'm Professor Meg. The link to the crowdfunding campaign for this will be down in the description below. Thank you to Bad Cat Games for sponsoring this video, and I will see you next time. I hope you have a great day. Bye.